So today was actually my last day of school. Now I'm just done with all the bullshit and the teachers, just at least for a couple of months. And you know, with this being the last day of school, I thought I'd bring you guys a little bit of a story that happened in my freshman year. Today was my last day of finals, so I thought I'd bring you guys a story of how I cheated on my first final. I actually successfully got away with it. It was the most obvious cheating you could have ever done on a test, like ever, but they just kind of went along with it and they never really caught us. So I had a teacher named Mr. Case, and he was my reading and language teacher. Nothing really too big. I had it for 2 periods because I wasn't really that good at language at first, and they just gave me a 2-block period type thing. And his final was 250 questions long. Still to this day, the longest final I've ever done. And we didn't really study for it, even though he gave us a study guide, but it was just really the exact same copy of the final, just puts, like, he wrote study guide on it and just made copies out of it. But nonetheless, we didn't really study for it because my freshman year I didn't really try. I wasn't that great of a student, and even in my sophomore year, and even to this day, I'm still not that good of a student. So me and my friends, we decided to come up with a little bit of a system here. And it wasn't even that really good of a system. It was just something that we came up with last minute to help each other out on the final if we knew some questions or not, because some of us in our group of friends at that time were smarter than the others. And the only reason why we didn't really know anything was because that class, as I said, was a 2-block period, which really didn't make that big of a deal. We only had a first and second period, and it had all of my friends in it at that time. It had me, Chris, Noah, Dustin, I don't think Lenny was in there at the time. Regardless, there was a lot of people. And so our strategy at the time was, for example, like number 1, what we would do was we would hit on our desk like this for question 1. And then when someone would look at us, we would hit 1 for A, 2 for B, 3 for C, and so on. And you guys can already tell that that plan was just gonna go downhill very fast. And the teacher kind of caught on somewhat, but I don't really think that he didn't even care, because I think he knew that some of us were gonna fail and that he just wanted us to cheat a little bit just to see if that we were gonna at least get a decent grade on our final. But I didn't fail that class. Just to tell you guys, I actually passed that class with at least a B or a C. We would have 2 finals a day, and I think it was on a Monday that we had his first. And when we got in there, we just kind of goofed off for a little bit, just kind of stalling time before the tardy bell rung. One of my friends, actually, there was a ladder in the middle of the classroom, and one of the janitors was fixing a tile in the ceiling. And my friend Chris actually climbs up the ladder and sits down on top of it, and when Mr. Case walks into the classroom, he looks at Chris and asks him what was he doing, and Chris just sits there with a pencil and a piece of paper and says, "I'm ready to take my final." And I mean, that kind of brightened up the mood a little bit, but we were just kind of focused on our strategy and what we were trying to do to just at least try not to get caught. Because there's like 7 or 8 of us in that group, and all of us crowding around each other trying to take this final with that type of strategy was kind of dumb at the point, but I don't even know how he didn't even catch us. So an hour kind of went by, and we had like maybe an hour left or 50 minutes left, somewhere around there, and I'm on like question 100 and something, and I didn't know the answer to it. So I am legit sitting there looking around at someone, and I snap my fingers, and my friend Dustin looks at me, and I'm sitting there just going as fast as I can, and he cannot register what I'm trying to beat at. And then I had to redo it again, and then Mr. Case actually caught on to it and just said, "Would you guys stop banging on the damn desks?" After that, we just started talking to each other and asking for the answer, because I mean, we were just kind of like, fuck this, we're not just gonna keep like beating like for question like 157, beat 157 times on your desk. We would have shattered the desk by the time we got to there. Even beating the desk like 10 times was just hella hard. Even beating the desk like 10 times on like the 10th question was just stupid, and we almost broke the desk after the 10th question. But to be honest, I actually failed his final. It wasn't like really bad. I think it was like maybe a 60%, and I'm surprised I still even passed the class with that kind of grade, because I had like C's average, but I thought that would at least bring me down to a high F or somewhere along those lines. And he just never really caught on to it. He handed us our finals, and I think like barely anybody did good on theirs. The only one that did good was probably me. I probably had the highest one in there, and I don't really even talk to that many of those people in that group of friends. The only people I really talk to in that group of friends is probably Noah, I believe. There may be a couple others that I might be leaving out that I still talk to, maybe like Chris or something like that, but we don't really talk as much as we used to, and we never really hung out outside of school, so I really don't consider them good friends. But except for Noah, we've actually hung out a couple times out of school, but after that I just don't really see us except Noah as a good friend, really. I would just really consider Noah as an acquaintance at this moment because we really don't talk as much as we used to. So a little lesson for this video, guys. Don't do what we did on our finals, because you might not get as lucky as we did. We were assholes as a freshman. And with the end of my junior year today, I'm gonna be a senior, so hopefully I can keep the cycle going of just doing good on my finals just by bare fucking luck. So that's gonna be it for the video today, guys. I hope you all did enjoy this little bit of a story. If you guys want to hear more stories from me, from my high school experiences, or just any experiences in general, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. And it's been Revive, and I'm out. Peace.